Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on a lovely little island of Fawnhollow today, where a very rainy, wet weather. That's not how you construct sentences. Awaits us as what is happening? I believe Jakey's moving out, right? So tomorrow, of course, we'll be doing a very nice special episode of doing some island hopping, seeing if we can find anyone with 120,000 Nook Mile tickets, Nook Mile points saved up. We should probably go redeem some of these tickets, eh? Or maybe we don't need to. It's like I can get through 30 of them or something in one episode if I try or speed through. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:39 PM on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021. Now for today's announcements, tomorrow Fawnhallow bids a fond farewell to our dear friend Jakey. It's hard to say goodbye, but we wish him luck on his next big adventure. Be sure to stop by for one last chat before he leaves. Maybe bring some tissues? That's all for today. Have a fun day out there. Yes, Jakey's leaving. Which, you know, he's been here for a very long time now, I think about it. He was not one of the earlier ones, but he was sort of like in about second or third generation, I think, of villagers, if I recall. So he's been around that block. I'm pretty sure we have this one already, but I'm not sure. Sorry about that was quite a long pause, but on the bright side, I now thought about something to talk about, which we'll get onto in a second. Oh, Canopy, I started writing this message because I had something to tell you, but now all of a sudden, I'm completely drawing a blank. It's quite embarrassing, but I shall send you this letter anyway. Forgetfully yours, Vivian. We have definitely had this before. I remember forgetfully yours. No, the thing I was going to talk about was skateboarding in the Olympics, and I suppose all the new Olympic sports. Oh no, Olympics. Sorry, it's the only major event which is going on for about 2 weeks or so. So, you know, it's a bit unsurprising that I'm talking about it. Sorry. Being unnecessarily rude to a straw man I constructed in my head who just went, oh, Olympics. You know, this person doesn't exist. Why am I being so rude to someone who doesn't exist, you know? Getting angry over nothing. I'm not even getting angry, it was just meant to be a facetious bit, but I don't think the bit landed, so we're just going to move on from it. But yeah, skateboarding Olympics. I recently actually talked about the Doodle Island minigame thing, the Google Doodle, which was actually like a minigame collection for the Olympics. Craft, free trees, buy things. Okay. And yeah, I talked about how one of the minigames was skateboarding, and I was like, I don't think skateboarding is an Olympic sport. Lo and behold, you know, checking in the Olympics, it totally is an Olympic sport. It's a new one. I think it was like this year. I wasn't going to say today, that doesn't make sense. And I caught a bit of it on TV. And you know, I like to retract my statement. Skateboarding is an Olympic sport. I just didn't realise it had become one. I knew climbing was one, a very recent one this year, but I didn't know skateboarding was one as well. And honestly, it makes sense. If snowboarding is one, I don't see why skateboarding shouldn't be one. It's just like any sort of these sports where you can do some sort of expressive skill set thing like that should be one, shouldn't it? And shouldn't be MX things. I feel like most things in the X Games should probably be an Olympic sport as well. Or at least could be an Olympic sport, whether they want it or not. Because I suppose if they all became Olympic sports, maybe it sort of makes X Games redundant. But that's not really true, because Olympic sports is every 4 years, and X Games is just every 1 year. So it's a bit different. Butterfly Flash fish. I'll try and catch. I won't promise anything. But yeah, I mean, I watched it and it was pretty cool. You know, they have this like, I assume it's like a skate park which all the competitors knew how it'd be laid out beforehand. Maybe it's like a standardized skate park. I've got to be honest, my knowledge on skateboarding not very good. I know basically nothing about skateboarding. I know conceptually some tricks. Like I know what an ollie is, and I know there's things like nollie, nose grind. I don't think I know any others. I probably do, but it's hard for me to think of them off the top of my head. And I don't even have the benefit that other people usually say. It's like, oh, my knowledge of skateboarding comes from Tony Hawk Pro Skater, because I have never played that game. I only know about its existence. Conceptually, I suppose. And that's about it. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool to watch. What surprised me was how young some of the competitors were. They were like, I saw one of the girls from like Japan or something was like 13, or maybe she wasn't from Japan. I can't remember. And I was like, what? Imagine being 13 and being in the Olympic Games. And then I thought about it some more, and I was like, now I think about it, I'm pretty sure some of the gymnasts are like that young as well, aren't they? Like, some of the youngest gymnasts have been around 13 to 15 or something when they perform and get gold medals. I don't know who the youngest gold medal winner is in the Olympics. That seems like a piece of trivia. But I would not be surprised if it was in gymnastics, because that definitely is. It's because when you're small, there's actually a huge benefit in gymnastics, because you can do a lot more rotations quicker. Not to say if you are tall you can't do gymnastics, you certainly can. There was that very famous Russian gymnast, I can't remember off the top of my head, and she was like actually really tall. comparatively. So yeah, I mean, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it, in the infamous words of Shia LaBeouf. But yeah, it shocked me how young some of them were. And I was like, I guess that makes sense because, you know, skateboarding does attract a much younger crowd than I'd imagine a lot of the other sports would. It's something which, like, you know, teenagers, butterfly fish, wow. Something which teenagers generally tend to pick up. I thought it was Rowan there. That's not Rowan. Like preteens up to young adults tend to pick up, and it's not really something you see many adults skateboarding on, you know, apart from like Tony Hawk and I suppose the people who skateboard in the X Games, but they're far and few between. It's very much you see as like a teenage thing, skateboarding, so you know it kind of makes sense that the people who'd be best at skateboarding would be those teenagers. So really, I guess what I'm trying to come around to is being like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, and yeah, in retrospect, I'm not anymore. It's just like, you know, that makes sense. I just didn't really think about it all that often. But the fact it's Olympic sport is cool because, you know, I don't know how often Olympic sports are actually added into the Olympic Games. I'd imagine they must go through some sort of vetting process through the International Olympic Committee, who are okay. Maybe not okay. There's something. They are a committee. I'm not going to pass too much judgment on them because I don't really know about their actions, and I feel like judging the whole collective as a whole is a bit of a redundancy. But yeah, I mean, they're the ones who get the final say, I suppose, in these sort of things. And I suppose at some point they were just like, oh yeah, skateboarding should totally be a sport, and it was cool to watch. You know, they did some tricks. I have no idea what's going on. It seems to me they had 30 seconds or maybe it's a minute, I can't remember, to basically do as many tricks as possible in a short amount of time, and I guess they get rated on that sort of thing. And I was watching it, I was like, wow, these people are really good. And like, I mean, obviously they're professional athletes despite their young age. I was like, these people are like really good. None of them have made, like, from what I can tell, any mistakes yet. And then one of the girls fell over, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I cursed you with my commentary. She seemed okay though, so, you know, more respect to her. And I suppose it's just a natural, not process, but just part of the any sporting event or something like that. You know, and your big events, you can like just mess up entirely. Like, I mean, I had it as well, and you might be like, you did sports, dear darling, and I go, haha, yeah, I did actually, surprisingly. When I went to uni, rowing was a very popular sport at my uni, so I did that for like 2 times. By the way, did not really like rowing. It's good about. I was like, why can't I walk forward? Rowing, not really my sort of sport. Not really where it's at. But you know, I remember in one of our, like, the first races we did, which is actually a competitive one against other racing teams or something. I caught a crab, as they say. And what catching a crab is basically when you're rowing with the oar. It's basically you use a technique. You sort of like row incorrectly, and then the oar gets stuck underneath the boat, and then it's a horrible experience because you basically lost one person's like arm power, I suppose, while rowing, and now the boat is now also imbalanced, so the people on your side of the boat had to row extra hard, and you know, that was very embarrassing, and I felt really bad about it. And the coach, you know, and went to me afterwards, I was like, you know, it happens, you know, I can't remember his exact words, but it was long words. If it happens, you don't need to worry about it. It happens to everyone. That sort of thing. The most important thing is not to get caught up with it. It's just the nature of sport, and you know, it was a refreshing talk because I'm not someone who did much sport in the first place, so I suppose I wasn't particularly used to the feeling. I'll be like, oh man, I just let my entire team down because I messed up majorly, and then, you know, that just do be how it is. And also, you know, in retrospect, you know, it do just be how it is, and it's, you know, a situation I'm familiar with, actually, amusingly, but like not so familiar in the sporting sense, so it felt a lot more catastrophic, I suppose. Especially because of the other avenues that I've done it in, like I've been into like team academic competitions and that sort of thing. I've always felt like I have carried my weight. Otherwise, like I contribute, like I do rather well on those sort of things. Like, we've had team maths challenges, and I was not the best at the team maths challenge because we had someone else in the year below me who was super good, who was a family friend. They're super clever, but I was probably like second best, at least in the final year we did it, or that sort of thing. And you know, I pulled my weight a lot, so you know, if I made a mistake, I didn't feel that proud about it, because I was like, you know what, I pulled my weight in the other questions as well, so what's there to be upset about? But I guess in sport things, you know, and I was like, I'm not very good at sports in the first place, and then, you know, not only that, I made a huge mistake. I was like, oh no, it's catastrophic, but you know, it's just something you got to get used to in sports. Like, failure is just a natural part of not just life, but everything really. Sorry, not just sport, but life really is what I meant to say. It's inevitable you're going to face it eventually, and it's really about how you respond to it and cope with it. Like, yes, you can feel sad about it, because especially, I mean, obviously this was a much smaller stage in the Olympics. In the Olympics, you'd be like, oh wow, this is like the biggest event ever, this is huge, I've only got once every 4 years to even try and attempt it. Of course, my thing is I'm not even going to, my situation was not even comparable, I'll be honest, but it's similar sort of feelings. You just got to be like, you know, allow yourself to be sad, and then you got to move on from it. You got to build yourself up strong and be like, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again, you know. Got to train, maybe not train harder necessarily, but you know, you reflect on it, I suppose, in a healthy way rather than coping with it in a destructive way. Is really the essence of it. So yeah, what I mean to say is, she fell over, but you know, she honestly looked fine afterwards. I mean, I think her like hand was bleeding or something, because it like roughed up her hands, and it surprised me that like not all of them wore like knee pads and like gloves and that sort of thing. But I guess, you know, skateboarding tends to have much lax regulations, because it's something you tend to do just sort of, you know, you just imagine people after school going to like a skate park or whatnot, and some of them don't even wear helmets when they absolutely should. But good to see all the competitors wearing helmets, at the very least. We don't need our craft. We should see if you're ill, at least. And yeah, falling over at Olympics, or like, you know, performing poorly at Olympics, it happens to so many different athletes, and sometimes it's a pressure gets to him, sometimes it's just a raw mistake. You know, there's 1 in a million chances just happen to What did you want? I have no idea. But I just sold you some. Oh, I sold you an insect. Sure, why not? It's just one of those. What was I saying? I forgot. It's just something which happens, I suppose. And there's not really much you can do about it except for try and, well, once it's happened, I mean, you do obviously all you can to try and prevent it by, you know, training, practicing, like being used to working under pressure, and you know, eventually it will put out. And even if it doesn't, that's just how it goes sometimes. It's unfortunate to say, but being able to face those failures and not let them deter you from trying and competing in the first place is how it goes. Now you might say, why didn't you continue to offer out some sky? Rowing anyway. Rowing, I don't really like rowing. I'm not very good at endurance sports. I'm much more of a sprinter than a long distance sort of person. And yeah, I didn't have great experiences rowing afterwards anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop doing this. No hard feelings against rowing. If you row, by all means, continue on. It's a cool sport, just not for me. I've never seen you wear that before, Jakey. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to me talk about moving. I'm all packed up and ready to go, but I've been waiting for you. On TV, nobody says goodbye. Well, unless it's a real sad movie. No, what TV folks do is they smile and they say, I'll see you later. So that's why... Burrito? I'll see you later. My heart. Lazy villagers are so cute. Hope for New Island has a bunch of yummy foods too. I'm going to put everything I find in my mouth. You should not do that, Jakey, but you know, you do you. Farewell from Fawnhollow. And all the residents, you've been a well-established member of a Fawnhallow community, and I hope the greener pastures over the horizons are even greener than they are here for you. I don't know, that wasn't very eloquent. Whatever, you get what I mean. You know, I hope he has a good life. Have a nice life. Is your Phineas and Ferb reference for you there? From a song Me, Myself and I. Haven't done a Phineas and Ferb song reference for ages. But yeah, anyway, skateboarding is kind of cool. I don't really have any skateboarding stories because obviously, if you couldn't tell, I never really tried skateboarding. It's not something I tried. None of my friends, I think, know how to skateboard. If they do, they've not told me. And it was not something that was particularly popular in high school. So I know basically no one who skateboards. Personally, that is, I don't even know anyone who... No, I knew someone who had a skateboard. I don't know if he could actually skateboard or not, but that's a whole question. But there was this place... Well, there weren't actually... Maybe there still are quite a few skate parks growing around where I grew up back in... when I was much younger, and one of them I remember was right next to a swimming pool area. Oh, we should sell all the stuff we got in our inventory first, because I do not want to carry around about 30 bugs and fishes anymore. We should keep piranha. I don't think we have a piranha. I don't remember which of these cicadas we have. I don't think we have a robust one. Cream and sugar. Yeah, there was a skate park right next to the swimming pool, and often people would have like birthday parties at the swimming pool where, you know, like, I guess I don't know if you you probably don't rent out the entire swimming pool unless you're very wealthy, but you probably just like bring everyone to the swimming pool. It's an organised event where there's lifeguards to make sure that these like 20 kids or whoever you've invited to for your party don't like drown or anything or get into accidents and that sort of thing, and you go down the water slides, and that's sort of fun. Yes, our swimming pool had water slides. It was pretty cool. Only had 3, mind you, but still very, very fun. I think I talked about them. I swear I talked about them before, like in a water slide. I actually think it's called like water parks or water slides or something for that Animal Crossing video. If you want to check that, check my fact checking. Yeah, there was a skate park really near there, and people would often have birthday parties there. And I remember one of the days after we had a birthday party there, we went to eat like on the picnic, what do we call it, picnic tables outside the area, and because it's like right next to a park, I think they're connected to the swim park. I can't really remember off the top of my head. It's been a very long time since I've gone there. Did we not do the deep sea diving one? We got it already. Maybe we didn't. Let's put some stuff away, then we'll do fishing. Yeah, and I remember afterwards, like the kids were like, "Oh, now it's like a few hours. It's got playtime, I guess, until your parents pick you up on that sort of thing. Now the party's over." And I remember one of the kids just went like, "Let's run to the skate park," and we were just like, "What?" We didn't know how to skate, but then, as it turns out, we just went to the skate park anyway. And they have like the half pipe, the half ramp there, whatever. And instead of just like skateboarding, we just sort of like ran up and down it, and it was like it was quite tall because we were very young back then. We must have been like 6 to. Somewhere between 5 and 7, I'm not sure exactly. At least that's how I remember it. It was very tall, so it was quite an ordeal trying to even get up to the half pipe, like ramp, top part in the first place. So I remember it was basically a competition of all the kids just like running back and forth and trying to get up. I did manage to run and make it to the top because I guess I was a fast sprinter, so it worked out for me. And I remember once people got to the top, we were just like helping everyone else get up. So like, some of the other people would run, they don't quite make it, but we like reach our hands and grabs and pull each other up. And I just hold that as quite a fun memory because I thought it was a really fun time, and I wish we did it again, but I don't think we ever did that again. Of skate park. But now I look back on it, it's probably a good thing we never did again. Well, I'm not going to take away the fact that it was a fun memory. That's not really what you use a skate park for, and I can't. I remember at the time that there weren't any other people about, like at the skate park. It was just us, so completely fine. But a skate park is a skate park. You should probably let the skateboarders have it. I can imagine being like a teenager going to be like, "Oh, I can't wait to like grind some rails or something." I have a skate park with some of my friends, and it's going there, there's like 26-year-olds just running back the half pipe, which is like, obviously not, and they're not even skateboarding or even trying to skateboard because they don't have skateboards. They're just sort of running back and forth. And I'd be like, "Oh, that's quite annoying. I wanted a skateboard, and now I can't, and there's not many other skateboard." And now there's no room to skateboard because there's just a load of kids running about. So, it's a good thing we never did again, because I think a lot of other times there were people probably at skate parks there having another party, just saw some other people skateboarding. We just sort of watched them, I guess, while eating. I don't know. But I think apparently I have more skate park memories than I really realised. I remember there was a skate park near this, basically near a sort of shopping centre, not too far away from me. Obviously, not going to tell you where it was, but that's skate park. That skate park always used to be filled up with so many like teens. But at the time when I looked at them, I was like, wow, they look like adults, or whatever. But they're not adults, It's just like when you're 11 and you look at someone who's, or I suppose when you're like 8 and you look at someone who's like 16, they're like, what me now looking at like a 30-year-old would be like, not really the same, I suppose. But it's weird how your relative like interpretations of people change as you get older, like age-wise, not personality-wise. I mean, that changes all the time anyway. But which one's a butterfly fish? I should look up what a butterfly fish is. Butterfly fish. Ah, yeah. So this is a sea creature. Okay, I wasn't sure. I was getting it confused with an angelfish. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a small sea creature as well. Now I think about it, so. Yeah, it always used to be filled up with people. And I remember people used to bring like their bikes and their not skateboard, what do I call it? Scooters. They were like Razor scooters, and not the brand, to the skate park and I guess do tricks and that sort of thing. It always struck me as like when I was younger, because I guess I was like meant to be one of a goody two shoes, like a smart kid, that sort of thing. I was like, oh, these are like ruffians, which is obviously very like a dumb thing to say, but ruffians isn't really the right word, but these are the sort of people the delinquents of school. Obviously, like, you know, forgive me for having rather judgmental views for when I was like 6 years old. It's not like I actually thought that way, but it's just like, man, these people are just like so different from me. This is like a whole different clique, I suppose, is really what I'm trying to say. Excuse me, I didn't need to pull that down. It's like, yeah, like a whole different clique and like a whole different world which I'm not privy to. I could not imagine myself like ever fitting in or being welcome there. And I don't, probably, because, you know, I don't know how to skateboard and that sort of thing. I mean, it's not like I was going to be like a 180 and I'm like, oh, it actually turns out I do fit in with skateboarders. No, but it always used to be very scary when I passed through there. Not passed through there, but like walked by it. I like look in and watch for people skateboarding and be like kind of intimidated by their like by the nature, because it felt very intense to me, I suppose. Obviously now, like in retrospect, or even like, you know, when I got a tiny bit older, when I was like 12, I was like, oh, whatever, if I just like skateboarding, who cares? But I guess kind of when you're younger, a lot of things are quite intimidatingly scary to you, so that's probably not too much of a surprise when I say that. You know, older kids are scary when you're younger, and then even more so when they're like, you know, I suppose like cutting loose or whatever at a skate park and that sort of thing. I remember at one point, like, there was some huge drama on a skate park, not like drama like through like civil affairs or anything, but I went to a skate park and there was like some drama, some beef between like these teenagers or something. Well, I can't remember. There was like some screaming match between this girl and I assume her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend. I don't really know, and I just remember staring in as I walked past my parents, or maybe not with my parents. I can't remember. Probably with my parents. I can't imagine I was walking by myself. And one of the teachers just like looked over and he was like, "What are you looking at?" And I just went, just ran away. I was like, "No thanks, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not about to get like into a tussle with someone like double my age or something." I remember it as being a lot more scary than it probably actually was, to be fair, because in my mind, you know, it was like, this person is going to murder me, which is obviously not the case. It was probably just some very frustrated teenager just trying to, I don't know, maybe going through like a breakup or something, or a disagreement, as, you know, teenagers do. And they're annoyed by this random kid just sort of peering in from the sidelines. But yeah, I don't know if our skate park's even still open. Should I look? Let's see. Let's see what it looks like now. I remember it was always graffitied, and then one time they actually, I think they cleaned it or something. I was just surprised. But there's a huge amount of graffiti all over there. Alright, I'll type it in. How's the images? That doesn't look right. I mean, this looks huge. This is a new one they're building in the same city. Ah, this is the one I was... It looks so much worse than I remember. It's so small. 1,300 square meters, really? 1,300 square root. That's not even a square root. What's square root of 1,300? Around 36. It is pretty small. Let's see. But apparently they're building a new one in this town, which is even bigger. So, or have built a new one. Look at that. Oh, it's actually a bit bigger than I thought. But this angle makes it look tiny. There's a huge amount of graffiti everywhere, and I remember they cleaned it once, and then graffiti came back all very quickly. Like, the thing is, this skate park is like straight up next to like an open road or main road. How do you graffiti something without being caught? Or maybe they see like people graffitiing and just be like, ah, whatever. It's part of a skateboarding like culture anyway, so like let them do it. And it's better that they're doing in this like place where it's much more welcomed and part of not their theming, but much more reasonable to graffitiing, rather than doing it on other like public buildings, like on the side of a bank or something. So I guess I just sort of like, cool. Graffiti is another one we should probably have a whole separate topic about. There's too many things to talk about. I can't believe yesterday I was all like, oh, I'm running out of things to talk about. And it's pish posh. You know how many things there are to talk about in this world? But yeah, there's a skate park. And apparently they built a new one nearby. Like, they have one in, like, a very big skate park in London, which I've seen in passing. I don't even know where it is. I've just seen it when we randomly go to London. Just like walk by it, and it's like under a bridge or something. Hold on, I bet. Let's see, London skate park, the South Bank skate park. That's it. It's huge. I've never been in it, but I always thought it was really cool because it's like under a bridge. And you walk by, and you just keep going, you just keep walking by, and there's just endless people skateboarding back and forth. It was also extraordinarily crowded last time I went. Pre-COVID times, so pre, you know, lockdown and everything, so that kind of makes sense of why it would be quite crowded. But I'd imagine like skateboarding in a skate park must be really annoying with so many other people there. Like, I mean, I know this kind of goes for like any. Sorry, I was looking at it. I know this kind of goes for like any public place. Like if you go to the gym, you're like, oh, I can't believe there's so many people here. I wish it'd be empty. But like skate parks seem even more like annoying than usual because you need so much space. Don't you to like run up and do these tricks and that sort of thing. It's like you can't grind this rail if someone else is grinding this rail. You might like crash into them or something. I guess that's kind of like every public place really, where you're just sort of like, there's too many people here. You know, that could be a butterfly fish. So let's catch a deep sea creature and try and catch that fish afterwards. But now I think about it, you know, I used to go snowboarding and skiing where we had like a dry slope, not too far from where I live, decently far. And yeah, I mean that always used to be super crowded as well, but it wasn't that bad, you know. Not skateboarding, snowboarding and skiing down there anyway, because you know you find your space, and despite the fact it looks like it looks like there's a couple of hundred people here, you still can find your space and your path downwards. You know, people are always moving and that sort of thing. I guess the bigger nuisance would be if you're by it and then you know people are just like not skateboarding or they're just in the way. So just like at least you're not even using the facility. Like the other people at least are using it, and you know it kind of makes sense for them to be here. If you're just sort of lounging about, what's the point? Which I guess is kind of what differs it. Well, I need to edit that because I accidentally just said that location, but don't you worry about that. Obviously, you know, I like to keep my privacy and that sort of thing, so I try not to give away any of the place that I'm living about. I haven't had to edit a video in ages, you know. Let's get that open right now. Get out of Eclipse Studio Paint. I'm working on a drawing right now, so it's not very exciting. Let's open up After Effects. Get that launched. Hello. It's not responding to me. So we can edit that right away. It happened before in like one of the very, very early episodes. I said like the town I live in. I was like, you know what? Probably shouldn't upload that to YouTube, huh? So I edited it out. So yeah, I'm just going to cut that out very quickly and just re-render it. It'll be completely fine. Don't even need to worry about it. I can't see anything right now because the After Effects loading screen is directly in the way of an OBS viewer. Would you mind, After Effects? There we go. But yeah, I guess that's the difference, because I always felt like the local skate park town thing was I don't know how to put this. It just seemed like a hangout location rather than necessarily a place where people just wanted to come and skateboard. Which, you know, perhaps that shows my ignorance, where you know I'm misjudging these people. I don't really know exactly what the case is. I need to remux these, don't I? It's been so long since I had to edit a video. Oh, it's completely fine. At least I caught it. It'd be so much worse if I didn't catch it and I just uploaded it anyway. I'd be like, oh no. It's not even that big a deal, because the town I said is actually reasonably far away from me. But you know, paranoia sets in sometimes. Also, it's suddenly gotten really warm, so it's a good thing I have my window open to let the breeze in. I'm just trying to catch a butterfly fish in these last like 3 minutes or something we got. Just so we can see if we can actually give it to Amelia or not. If we can't, we can't, but hopefully we can. That's the whole point of this. What have I been up to today? Not really much. Played some Isaac. Did a Tainted Keeper run. Tried to do chest and Mega Satan. Died on the chest because there was a double bloat rune. So, screw that. That's basically what I say. Also, I would have probably beat that run. The problem is I took eyeball tears. Eyeball tears are not great without specific synergies, but I was like, yeah, YOLO, this run's so strong anyway. Wasn't that strong, it turns out. Wasn't strong enough for that. But yeah, maybe I'll play a bit of that afterwards while I wait for... Because I was going to draw, but it's really like intense on my computer having both After Effects and a drawing program open, so I'll probably just play a game or something instead, which for some reason it runs a little bit better. I don't think we're going to catch your angelfish, Amelia, but yeah, I guess tomorrow we'll be trying to find a replacement for Jakey. And you know, if you know about skateboarding, that sort of stuff, and you know, talk to me about it, you know, type about it. I love to learn about that sort of thing. Well, I love to learn about anything I'm not knowledgeable on, and I don't know much about skateboarding. Would I try it someday? Yeah, I mean, why not? I'm down to learn anything, is basically how it goes. Yeah, but for now, we'll have this episode off here, and I have a video to edit, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Deardarling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Deardarling Discord and follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye for now.